The British people for many years have had an enemy. An enemy that many people deny exists, that many people justify as subjective, that many people think is exaggerated.
I'm talking, of course, about ginger kids. Ah, nasty! Yuck!
No, I am talking, of course, about the BBC. The BBC, an organisation that only exists thanks to fees that are paid via a form of taxation, and can only justify its existence via nostalgia baiting the inhabitants of this once great land by saying how great they used to be, is somehow now good enough reason for their continued mediocrity. Well, we know better, don't we?
Fine, you want to be a communist? Be a communist.
Today, let me present to you an example of this mediocrity, this stupidity, this absolute trash organisation, only slightly edited to avoid the YouTube gods coming after me. Right here is the full example of what I'm talking about, which incidentally also combines another well-known subject I talk about on this channel, Mr. Jeremy Clarkson and farming.
So why are you here, Mr. Clarkson?
Well, because I'm here to support farmers.
Right. Are you angry?
It's difficult to be angry on somebody else's behalf. That's like being... Yes, no, I'm not angry on someone else's behalf.
Right. So it's not about you. It's not about your farm and the fact that you bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax.
What the f did you just say?
Classic BBC there. Classic. Oh, yeah.
Yes, it's exactly like that.
It's not the fact that I bought a farm to avoid inheritance tax. The fact.
You told the Sunday Times in 2021 that's why you bought it.
These people.
Sorry?
BBC. Okay, let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
I wanted a shoot.
Okay. And?
Okay? That's even worse to the BBC. I wanted a shoot, which comes with the benefit of not having to pay inheritance tax. Now I do. But people like me will simply put it in a trust. And so long as I live for 7 years, that's fine. And as my daughter said, you will live for 7 years. You might be in a deep freeze at the end of it, but you will live for 7 years. But it's incredibly time-consuming to have to do that. And why should all these people have to do that?
True. True.
Why should they?
So one of the reasons Rachel Reeves says she brought this in is to stop wealthy people using it as a way
No,
of
that was the
avoiding-
only reason she did.
Well,
Why
no, the other reason was to raise money for public services.
So, an idiot then?
Well, have you
Are
seen?
you listening to this?
Have you tried to get a GP appointment lately?
Yes,
Right.
I just recently had a heart attack.
Okay. Do you know it's tough?
Yes.
So where should they get the money from if it's not from farmers?
From farmers. You hear that, everyone?
With
BBC
assets.
thinks you should be paying for everything.
Mr. Clarkson,
Okay,
you
do
know
you
it's
know
not the
how many
BBC's
people
view.
pay inheritance tax in this country?
It's 4% of estates.
What?
4% of estates.
4% pay inheritance tax. 96% of the population of the UK does not pay inheritance tax.
Sure.
After this becomes law, 96% of farmers will.
Where have you got that figure from?
She does understand sarcasm and exaggeration, right?
Who here, can I just ask, who here is going to be unaffected by these changes? No one.
Right. Where have you got
I
the
know.
96% figure
Well,
from?
you've got 96%. Well, the same place that Rachel Reeves does,
Sick burn.
from the middle of her head.
Right.
From the Sixth Form Debating Society that she was no doubt a member of,
Okay.
which
So-
formed her opinions and yours.
I am not expressing opinions.
You
I'm
sure?
literally asking you questions. You know that, Mr. Clarkson.
Right.
So, what is your message to this government?
Please back down, please.
And get the money from where?
Well, they've got 40 billion. I'll tell you where you get the... Walk into any of the offices around here. If you don't understand what somebody's job is, fire them.
And how
The civil
far-
service... Civil service is too top, you know that.
Yeah, so this woman, Victoria Derbyshire, whatever she wants to call herself, is renowned for her impartial interviews. But just hearing her trying to make this all about Clarkson when he knows it's not about him, he says it's not about him. The Jeremy Clarkson of the past, you could easily say, looked out for number one. He was egotistical, self-serving, and didn't support causes that benefited the whole nation. But you know what? Like with most of us, experience defines you. You do a little bit growing up through the years. With him having just a small look into the farming life, he saw the issues, he saw the pain, the hardship so many had to go through day in and day out.
Because without the vending machines, we're getting around 26 pence a litre for our milk. I'm free labour, so we've got, you know, well, I don't take a wage. We don't get paid. We've never taken a wage at the moment because we're just financially, we can't.
It's all because a farmer is not obviously impoverished. People overlook them because they live on large acres of land. People think they are rich because of it. No, let me introduce you to the concept of asset rich, cash poor. All that land that they have is tied up in contracts, in loans, in mortgages, so they don't actually own any of it. Very few actually do. Only the absolute super rich own the actual land. That isn't the majority of farmers. Now, Clarkson then took to the stage to address those costly issues directly and also took aim at Victoria herself.
I lived in London 25, 30 years, and when I was here, like a lot of people who live in cities and go on Twitter, I thought farmers drove around in Range Rovers, moaning, until February, and then you all went skiing.
And there it is.
That took you
About 30 seconds.
dirty fingernails, cricked back.
It's gardening, that's what you do.
Okay, now let me show you how I would remove it, okay? See these three here? Ready?
Well, granted they're gone, but you
They're
can't,
gone.
you can't garden with a
They
shotgun.
have ceased to exist. And then about 5 years ago, I started farming. And I've come to understand just how unbelievably difficult it is, and complicated, and dangerous, and cold. It's just the forest of costs that staggered me. As we all know, everyone down there, you know a tractor, £200,000 for a medium-sized one. A combine, £500,000. All the equipment costs a fortune. And if you try to price what you're selling to accommodate that, there's just a lot of moaning. You get people saying, well, I shouldn't pay that. I can get a chicken from abroad. Yeah, you can. But it's so full of chlorine, it tastes like a swimming pool with a beak. And then you've got the environmentalists endlessly shouting at you, oh, your cows, they're altering the composition of the gases in the upper atmosphere, and your fertilizers ruining the trouty freshness of our streams and rivers. And I know sometimes you just think, well, what's the point? We're just trying to make breakfast, lunch and dinner, and it's just this endless whinging and there's no money in it. And the regulations. Some of you down there will know what I'm on about when I say we got a lot of GS4 this year on the farm. And we were told, oh, the sheep will love that. No, they don't. They're standing looking at it in the same way that a 5-year-old looks at an olive. They don't want to eat it. And so we have all of this complication and all of this cost, and there's very, very little money in it. Very little money, as you know. And then we got the budget. Now, I know a lot of people all across the country in all walks of life took a bit of a kick on the shin with that budget. You lot got a knee in the nuts and a light hammer blow to the back of the head. Because we had pickup trucks, double cab pickup trucks, being reclassified as company cars. 211% tax rise there. £50 carbon tax on a bag of fertiliser. The basic farm payments altered in such a way that we're getting a lot less than we thought we were going to get. And then there was the inheritance tax business. Honestly, I don't know where to start. I know you've heard a lot about it today, and I'm not going to dwell on that. I will just say this. Rachel Reeves has told us, what is it, 72% of farmers are going to be unaffected by this. I've just been interviewed by Victoria Derbyshire for Newsnight.
And here we go.
Let's see if we can educate her here, if she's still around, Victoria. How many people here, if you'd raise your hands, are from a family farm? I want to see, right. I hope you can see that. I hope we've got our cameras from the show up high to see. That's a lot of hands. Now, keep them up, and I want you to lower them if you think, and you've had time to work this out, you think you're going to be unaffected by the changes to APR and BPR. Put your hands down if you're going to be unaffected. Thank you. My case rests. I want Newsnight to see that. She was trotting out. Nobody's affected. Rachel Reeves says so. Since when was the BBC the mouthpiece of this infernal government? But I do want to finish, if I may, with a message to the government. I do. Not a shouty one, it's this. For the sake of everybody here, and for all the farmers who are stuck at home today, paralysed by a fog of despair over what's been foisted upon them, I beg of the government to be big, to accept that this was rushed through, it wasn't thought out, and it's a mistake. That's the big thing to do, admit it, and back down. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
People think this is some sort of one-off protest. No, no, no. This is the beginning of something great. You have people of all social backgrounds gathered here. Politicians of various parties out with the masses. When would you see Jeremy Clarkson and Nigel Farage seen eye to eye on an issue? We are truly in strange times, ladies and gentlemen. This was me just giving you a quick update on what's going on. Hope you found the video enjoyable. Thank you all for watching, and as always, do take care.